Hello Capricorn, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully your day is getting off to a great start. Really good to see you. I'm looking forward to reading all of the energy and all the information that's coming through today. And little Apollo here just woke up, wanted to say hello to all of you. Again, my name's Nicholas. Welcome to your monthly forecast. We're going to be taking a look at all of the energy, all of the opportunities that are coming through. You can always use my readings for sun, rising, and also for moon. And I actually have started to do something new with respect to the organization of this. So right before we get into the meditation, I'm actually going to break down sun, rising, and moon messages as well, just so you have a little bit more information. Right here you can see the overarching organization for today's reading. We begin with channeled messages, and then we move from that into the Celtic Cross. And the Celtic Cross takes whatever shape it needs to. I always focus on the expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny afterwards. And then after we get through the big idea, then there's some interactive elements that we can look at where you get a chance to vote on some things. I'll look at some things. And then again, we'll look at the blessings blocks and the breakdown for the different placements of sun, rising, and moon. If you have any big questions, save them until the end. I do something called just a final card where you get a chance to meditate on it, and I'll look at the overarching energy of everybody's sort of question or the movement that's going to happen with that. So save questions till the end. You can ask them in meditation. Okay, so there you go. A couple of quick notes before we begin. If you like what you see, or if you'd like to participate in today's chat, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. If you can type in this live chat, you're already a subscriber. If you can't, then that's a way for you to do it. It's free, by the way. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a nice way to show support to the channel. Another free thing that you can do is just hit the thumbs up, the like button. And if you want reminders, you can either click the bell for notifications anytime I go live. You can also follow me on social media. I've pinned that link in the live chat, so you don't have to go searching for it. My name is pretty much my handle on all social media platforms. Let me pull the mic closer. Sorry about that. So that'll give you a chance to, if you ever are wondering, like, how do I know if it's you? If it's not my name, it's not me. And if it's not listed on my website or here on the About tab, then it's also not me. I'm Ashbaugh on Twitter, and everywhere else, again, it's my name. If you'd like to show some support, remember that you can do that live here in chat using SuperChat, SuperStickers, and the thanks button when it's on replay. Again, on social media, people may try to reach out and offer you things. That is not me. The only way to show love and support is to chat or to show the super stickers and super chats right here. So I always like to remind people to be smart about that. You can look at my website for an upcoming schedule. After today's reading, I'll make sure that I put the next 3 videos up, but just so you know what they are, I'll be doing Sunday Collective on Sunday for the week ahead, the next 7 days. And then we'll be wrapping up with 3 special readings next week. Of course, Aquarius on Monday, Pisces on Thursday, and then I have a bonus reading, I believe, at the end of the week. But the whole schedule's on my website. In case I said anything wrong, you can check it out there. All right. That, my friends, is all the sort of secretarial stuff. So let's talk now about channeled messages. So today, I was really focusing on the fact that it's we're kind of fortuitous and appropriate that we're doing your reading on Earth Day. And I want to focus on the Greek goddess Gaia. She was Terra in Roman mythology. And really a lot of information around empowerment. I think that's what we want to look at for you. This is going to be especially useful, I would say, both for sun and rising. But across the board, this is going to be really helpful in getting you further down your path or your goals. So you picked a good reading to join. All right, let me just pull up the presentation and then I'll share it with you. Okay, so yeah, happy Earth Day to everybody today. I think that when we get into our meditation later, that would be something really nice to focus on is not just healing ourselves, but healing this planet just a little bit because she's been going through a lot. So Gaia, Greek goddess, goddess of Earth is what we're going to be focusing on. This is a card that I love. It's from the Light Seers deck, which I might use today because it just pulled me in because I really love the imagery on this particular deck. But so we see the Empress, but here she's personifying both mother and also planet and also that divine feminine creative force that really does flow through all of us, whether we are identifying as male or female. We're all connected to that Empress energy. So in Greek mythology, the word is really derived from land or earth. And again, it's a personification of the planet. And she's one of the primordial deities. And in fact, she's the first immortal. She came out of chaos. So like the second energy in creation, but the first immortal. And she's also this sort of self-perpetuating energy. So instead of looking at God as divine masculine, as a lot of later cultures did, this is a divine feminine personification of God, if you will. And it makes a little bit more sense when you wrap your head around it, that God would have to be at least you can't create without divine feminine. Let's just put it that way. I think God is it. It's both. It's not male or female. We're trying to gender it, and it isn't. It's an it. But it definitely needs to have the divine feminine, and divine feminine has been missing in a big way for thousands of years. So Gaia came through today and wanted to remind all of us that we have that energy to create. And there's this fancy word, parthenogenic, but that basically means almost like in biology, I think it means like asexual reproduction. So just basically you can produce things on your own. So it's a reminder that you don't need a partner, you don't need a parent, you don't need a brother, a sister, a boss, a friend to do something in your life. It helps, but you can create on your own. And that becomes important the older that we all get, because some of you may be at a point where you are divorced or widowed or a widower, or you lost someone in your life and you start to think to yourself, how can I do this? You always were capable of doing it. And that's what Gaia is reminding you. If she could do it, you could do it. Leadership and success are things that are very much coming through for you. We have a retrograde, which I'll give you the date here in just a second, but it's coming through in the middle of May, which we're reading for. And so you really want to be mindful of setting intentions prior to that retrograde so that you can have just a great and an impactful month. And then the rest of the month will just be carrying out or pushing through some of those goals and aspirations. So what's going on right now, even as you're watching this? You may find yourself kind of put into more leadership positions, even if you don't see yourself as one, even if your title or the way that people normally look at you, it's not sort of what you would expect. You know what? You're going to be fine. Trust your instincts. And again, sometimes you don't realize that you can do it until you have no choice but to do it. So oftentimes we find our own leadership in times of crisis or need where, like let's say, for instance, in a very sort of everyday way of thinking, your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the street and you just start to think to yourself, all right, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I'll call. If you have a towing company, AAA, some sort of insurance, or whatever it is, you just start to go through things. You don't overthink it too much. You're like, I know I need to do this. You just go into that control mode, right? So it could be Empress energy, it can be Chariot energy, it can be Emperor energy, but you just take control. And so crisis is one thing that can make this happen. Absence is another one. So for those of you that have been partnered or have been, again, put in a position where someone that is normally around you has quit or left, all of a sudden it's you. And so you just kind of pick up the pieces and you think, I didn't know I could do this. You could do it. You can do it. You always are able of, and capable of doing it. But sometimes it takes a catalyst, a tower energy, or something coming through to kind of like shake the tree a little bit. Don't let other people push you to do things that you don't believe in or that you don't understand. Ask questions. Good leaders ask questions. They don't fake it. They'll say, wait a second, I need to understand this. And I want to make sure that we've looked at all the different, all the small print, all the different potential things that could go wrong or could go right before we make a decision. Basically, you're poised for success in leadership, so just step into that spotlight with confidence. What's absent from this, because I want to stay very positive in the cards that I chose, even in the slides, would be like the Five of Pentacles. It typically is that self-doubt card. But we're going to talk more about how to get away from that. So if you focus instead on knowing who you are and knowing what you want, let's take Justice. Notice all the divine feminine cards that I'm pulling in here. Justice is super interesting as a reader because oftentimes if I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm trying to help them through something, Justice will come through when they're either on the fence or she'll come through reverse when they don't believe in themselves, but maybe they haven't come to the realization of it. A lot of times, Justice and Judgment, they're like sister cards because sometimes or it's been decided, Judgment, but you haven't accepted it, or you're not ready for it, or there's disbelief. So there's understanding, but then there's like belief. And for some reason, belief isn't always there, even when the facts show that you should believe in it. So believe in yourself, know yourself. And that's the first question that I have here. This is kind of a checklist, if you will, with some questions here that you can kind of ask yourself to be stronger and more prepared for everything that's coming through. So first and foremost, do you believe in what do you believe in you? Do you believe in what you're doing? And if you don't, then those sort of things have to be sorted out first. As a new opportunity presents itself to you, do you think that you're deserving of it or ready for it? Because the universe does. It wouldn't show up on your doorstep if there wasn't something in your energy or in the work that you've done that said, hey, this person's ready. When we think to ourselves, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not experienced enough, I'm overexperienced, whatever it is, there's any number of things we can do to kind of like get into our head about this, then that pushes the opportunity away. Justice isn't just about the law. She's also about feeling worthy, feeling ready, and deciding something. Do you know what you're looking for? She's a decisive card. So if you're indecisive, that's something that I want you to kind of think about. Like, what do I want? We're often, as adults, not asked this question anymore. Only when we're like 8 years old or 18 years old, when we're trying to figure out like extracurricular activities or colleges or universities, or we're graduating and we're trying to figure out jobs. That's the only time that it seems like people care. So today I care, and all of the divine feminine energy that's coming through also cares about this, and it's asking you, what is it you want? What do you want to do? Because when it knows, when the divine feminine, when God, when the universe, when the divine knows, then it can start to show up for you. If you don't know, it doesn't know, and it's just going to throw stuff around, and it's more like throwing pasta on the wall. Some of it will stick, some of it won't, and it's not a very effective way of manifestation. When you know yourself, when you know your worth, when you decide that you're ready to embrace the new you, then these things help you not only accomplish the goals that you want, but they also help you from experiencing trials and tribulations and challenges to your power, to your authority. So that's why I'm asking you these things, okay? Let's go to the next slide here. So now I want to focus on some of the really cool energy that comes through when you do know yourself. So we have a couple of ace cards here. Because Gaia, second again only in the creation to chaos, she brought order to the chaos on some levels here, but she's the source. So I thought of a source card in my head, and I thought it would be the Ace of Wands, ideation, spark, flame, that inner spark. So maybe you haven't given yourself time and energy to kindle the flame within. Maybe you haven't felt inspired or passionate about someone or something in your life in a long time. Then it's time to find what makes you tick, what makes that flame sort of ignite. Okay, trust that inner compass to point you in the right direction, and also to point you away from things that do not allow for that sense of vitality to be there. So when you wake up and you're tired and you feel like, I don't want to do this again, that's an inner knowing that's coming through that's saying there's something stagnating about this experience, whether it's a relationship or a job or something in your life. You've outgrown it. It's a skin that wants to be released so that you can grow or change into something new. Okay, so you are the source. Don't look to other people anymore inspiration is good, but they can't be the source. They're not the battery. So, reading a good book, looking at a great movie, listening to a great speech, surrounding yourself by talented people, that's good, that's inspiring. But don't solely go there for the inspiration. Take that spark and then think, what's my flavor? What's my way that I could kind of color or touch this in a way that would bring a new level to it? Basically give it an upgrade. So I'm fine with inspiration, but this is your chance to sort of like also be a source of inspiration for others. Sometimes we don't think of ourselves in those terms. Put your time and energy into an endeavor. This is especially important if you have felt this sort of lackluster energy. So we're going from Ace of Wands to Ace of Pentacles here. This is where I was looking at the date. It starts on the 10th, and I didn't put the end date, but I think it's around mid-June as well. So anything that you do between, basically you have a couple of weeks here I'm doing the live reading on April 22nd rather, and May 10th is coming up. But you have like 2 or 3 weeks that you can get things going. So set your intentions, and even if you watch this later, because many of you will watch this in May, you can do the research for something if you missed the first opportunity to kind of like get it started. I believe retrogrades are still very valuable periods. You could also pick something up that you started and finish it. So depending on when you watch this, you're either going to start it new in advance of retrograde, or you're going to pick something up and finish something that you haven't completed. But focus on it. In a lot of readings this month, I've noticed 2 of Pentacles, the balancing card, the juggling card coming through. And so this particular card is just saying, make a choice. We don't even need to kind of look at that 2 of Pentacles. Just make a choice with the Ace of Pentacles and move forward with that. Okay? This is the piece that some of you probably have the hardest time with. I want you to rest. Rest your mind, rest your body, and listen to your dreams. Over the past 3 weeks, I've been awakened by prescient, precognitive, clairsentient dreams. It's so much so that I can't go back to sleep. So sometimes I'm waking up at 3 or 5 in the morning, or very early, and it's just like, that's not just a dream, that's real, that's about to happen. All of this was kind of brought about because I had a relative that passed away, and a lot of times when the veil is thinner, all of a sudden your ability to tap into energy is a lot more, it's strengthened basically. So my dreams have been even more clairvoyant than usual. I want you to listen to them as well. I think sometimes we just kind of brush them aside. So I always write them down. I always pay attention. I'm always intrigued in how accurate they are. Many times it takes weeks or months to understand how exact they were. And then also to kind of understand how to decode the symbology. So just like, there's 78 cards in a typical tarot deck. All of those symbols can have multiple meanings. Your mind works the same way, and it creates its own sort of hieroglyphs or cards that you'll learn to decode. So these dream symbols are important to write them down. I don't want you to kind of feel like you're in a pinball machine. You're not that little ball that's being pushed around by all these levers, right? So set your intentions. All of this inner knowing, all of this sort of managerial energy that came through with Gaia is saying, if you know what you want, you'll have a better chance of finding it. If you don't, then it's just luck. I think that you can be stronger than having serendipitous or lucky sort of energy. I think you can combine that with a synchronicity. Synchronicity is really what luck is. It's an opening, and it's the preparedness and awareness that happens when you see the opening. So you may think it's luck, but you've done the work, you recognize the opportunity, and you take it. And so that's a lot more powerful than just feeling like the universe might throw something your way. We're not just pulling some sort of a lever and hoping for the best at like Vegas or in a pinball machine. Take things one step at a time and don't just jump to the finish line. There's a lot of things that are going on in the interim that are going to help you to really make something amazing happen, okay? So yeah, beautiful energy. Really, this is the one that I kind of wanted to focus on, this sort of all-mothering energy that comes through. So we have Odin in Nordic mythology is the All-Father. And again, we have all these divine masculine sort of energies that seem to perpetuate a lot of religions. We're missing divine feminine, and I don't know why. So today we're going to focus on how we can nurture ourselves. And it is Earth, and that is very appropriate for your sign, Capricorn. So we're going to see how you can channel divine feminine energy and make an amazing month ahead, okay? I'm excited to see what this forecast holds for you. So again, welcome if you just joined. We're going to go straight into the channeled messages. I'm sorry, into the Celtic Cross here. I already know that I'm going to use the Light Seers deck because I was really drawn to that Gaia card. And let's just get started, okay? Welcome, everybody. Good to see you here. Again, you can always use it for sun, rising, and moon. I will be taking a look at that section independently in just a bit. But here we go. Let's see what's going on. So good to see you guys. All right, let me put on my glasses while I do this so I can see what's coming through. Looks like a pretty good month so far, I have to say, Capricorn. I like what I see. Across the board, actually, just beautiful cards and beautiful images. Let's see, got 2 cards sticking together. All right, let's get started here. We're going to start with these dual catalyst cards and talk about this. All right, so the first card that came through is the ring. The ring can represent a promise, and this is a chance for you to, well, it's a reminder to keep your promises, of course. Someone could also be coming through and showing up in a way that you didn't expect, or coming through when you really, really needed them. So the first thing that we'll kind of look at is promises and contracts, making sure that they're kept, making sure that you hold your side of the bargain, and vice versa. This can also indicate partnership coming into your life. You know that I'm not the kind of reader that will focus solely on it, but I'm not going to ignore it when I see it. So some of you may be at a point where things could be getting serious, and you might be looking at something and wondering, is this the one? Is this what I've been looking for? Should I commit? So, you know, I already pulled like that Ace of Pentacles, you know, when I was just kind of doing my own intuitive dive into what the month would hold. Just mentally, I was thinking aces. So when I look at this, I think of the same sort of thing. It could be a decision to invest or to accept something. And of course, possibly a proposal. Okay. So this is a really interesting sort of image. If you put it on the side here, you can see it's almost like an eye. And it reminds me of, for those of you that like to read graphic novels like Sandman, he had those eyes that were like stars that came out. So again, kind of going into the energy of following your dreams. Sandman is Morpheus, the king of dreams. So yeah, this is your chance to really tune into your dreams and see your dreams come to reality. And when that happens, accept it. Sometimes we are in disbelief when we see something come to fruition. Don't be, okay? Because we have the shaman energy that was sticking to this card as well. And so this to me is kind of like a very beautiful version. If we were to smash together like maybe 2 or 3 different cards in the major arcana, it would be the shaman. So it'd be like maybe high priestess and magician, maybe with a little bit of that empress energy, because it is creation, it is magic, and it is manifestation. So be careful what you wish for, it can happen. And we also see that diamond. Not only is that crystal clarity, but when we put it with the ring here, it also is indicative of, for some of you, again, this chance to really be starting to receive a promise, an engagement, some sort of a contract. All of it portends good things, by the way. So let me just make sure I got this light back. All right, so let's take a look now at your cards and see how these lovely cards here with the shaman and the ring are going to play out here. So let me just keep them up to the side so we can see them. And I just want to take a pause here and look at some of the love cards and relationship cards that did come through. Again, I don't focus on it, but I see it and I have to acknowledge it when I see it. So let's pull the camera back just a bit. So we have the 10 of Cups, the Page of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. That's a lot of love, my friends. So if you've been looking to find a connection, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be a job. It could be a roommate situation. We have a moving card here. You know, you actually got all the 10s that I want. It's all 10s across the board. If we were to just read the 3 in the center, which is past, present, future. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. It's pretty good. So you've got a good month. Everything else around this tells me the deeper levels, but I don't have to look much further than that. And then also your outcome card, Ace of Cups. I don't know what you've been doing, Capricorn, but I'm happy about it. And I feel really heartened by where this is leading us. Let's start with the 10 of Cups at the center here. It is reversed, but your other cards, if we look really quickly, were not. The 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Wands were not. So this is a little bit of that disbelief that we were talking about. 10 of Cups can be love, community. It can be partnership, outreach. It's usually good stuff, I have to say. When the card is reversed, there can be pressure put upon you by these people that you love, pressure to succeed, pressure to sort of like help them all out. You can't please everyone, and I think you understand that because there's a practicality to your sign that gets it. But there may be some sort of just a push from your closest friends to be doing more than you need to be doing. So, back in the channel messages when I had the 4 of Swords, that was saying to rest and take care of yourself. For those who truly love and truly know you, they're going to be okay with that. They want you to be happy. The important thing for you as you step into new things, whether you're saying yes or no to something, is to remind people that you're doing it because it will make you happy. It's what's right. It's what's right for you and for them. So stating that common goal, that common ground is going to be really important and effective at kind of getting through this energy. Okay. There just also could be an inconvenient but positive meeting of someone. So your life is busy, you're managing a lot of things, but all of a sudden the universe comes through and says, hey, remember you were looking for love or looking for a friend or looking for a roommate or looking for a job. We're going to throw it in right now because you're not focusing on it so much and we think you're ready. So all of that homework and discussion that we had around preparation earlier, it's coming through in a really large way right now to sort of say, don't get in your headspace, okay? And don't worry so much about being perfect. The perfectionist piece has a time and a place, but that time and place isn't right now, okay? So we've got the 9 of Wands here. You are doing a great job. Don't give up. And don't worry if someone in your family, you're breaking a cycle. Here's the interesting thing for some of you. Let's say that there is a sort of a cycle in your family of a lack of luck when it comes to money or relationships or following through. This is coming through to say, I'm different. The 9s are very sort of strong, particularly 9 of Wands and 9 of Pentacles. They're independent and they don't give up. The 9 of Wands is stubborn. And I like the way they illustrated this, the woman in this card. She's saying, you know what? I'm nobody's fool and I've been through a lot and I'm not going to finish until I get through that finish line. I want to see this to completion. I'm not going to walk away from this half finished. So you're breaking some sort of a cycle in your family, in your friends, in your life of maybe not completing things or not fulfilling it, and you're going to make it happen, okay? Through sheer stubbornness for some of you, you can do this. Pay attention to, for some of you, you could be getting migraines from stress. You might be drinking too much caffeine, so there could be headaches there as well, or if you're trying to cut off the caffeine. There could also be just the pressure could be getting to you in a way that it's difficult for you to concentrate. 9 of Wands tends to bother the headspace. Normally, we would see a bandage on it. I'll see if I can pull it up while we're talking. But the main thing for you to focus on is to take a deep breath, realize that going through all that you've gone through, it's actually given you the strength, the stubbornness, and the presence of mind to recognize that, I've got too much at stake here. I have to see this through. So let me see if I can find the card here, and if not, no worries. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about with the 9 of Wands. Impatience is the only thing that can get in your way because a lot of times we want it to happen faster. And here's the traditional 9 of Wands. You can see this card is so much, like she elevated it, the illustrator on this one. So we see someone here who is a little worse for the wear, a little bit tired, a little less confident than I'd like them to be. But what we see here is, you know what? I'm over that. I don't need to feel that anymore. I just want to get to the next level. So push through. You're going to be fine. Don't give up. That's the main energy with this, okay? Deep past. It feels like many of you have already set into motion the necessary pieces for a partnership to happen. So particularly for those of you that are single and looking, or in a career aspect, you're wondering like, how can I pull in the right partnership? It's already happening. Set your sights as high as you can. I always love this little pig flying in the air here. And I think the key for you to be right now is to ground yourself in other things, but always hold out that hope that my wildest dream could come true. The universe could surprise me with all of this and more. So I've talked about the power of including that in your manifestation or in your meditation. So if you're trying to find, like let's say a home or a job, think about the attributes of those things that you're trying to pull into your life and say, help me find all of this or something even better. Surpass my wildest expectations. Because then you've let the universe know, not only do you feel like you're ready for it, but maybe you're ready for more. Show me what I'm ready for, but put it in the positive sort of energy. So all of this or more in the highest possible energy, something like that, so that you're really capping it and saying, I want it to be, a beautiful, resplendent opportunity without the teachings, without the struggle, without that sort of justice card coming in and having me question it. Okay. So let your dreams come to you and don't second guess them when they do. Make sure that when you meet someone, they're as connected to you or to your dream as you are. So there should be a reciprocity and also a support that maybe hasn't been there in the past, okay? Beautiful energy. Some of you might also be dealing with, because the retrograde's coming through, if there's any unfinished business, this is the time to really make sure that it's sorted out, because more good stuff wants to come through. So a past love, an old friend, something from the past is coming through. You get a chance to kind of clear out any of the wrinkles there, so that when we look again at past, present, future energy, it's going to be good. So your primary focus this month is people and relationships. One of the ways that that's going to factor in a large way is how they take care of you and how you take care of them. There's a lot of practical energy in the Ten of Pentacles. It can be familial energy here that we see, like your home, your family, your partner, and really the world that you're building, the life that you're building together. It also is like the legacy that you're leaving. Let's say you're not coupled. Let's say you're not interested in children. Well, you're still on this planet. And today's reading is about grounding yourself in a purpose and also remembering that we're all here to make this world a little bit better. I think what's happened in the past, I don't know, it's maybe the past 20 years or so, but it feels like there's a lot more focus on just on self, but not enough on everyone around you. And I would say social media has also been a part of that, for better or for worse. But a couple of quick notes. We come back to this planet. We reincarnate. Life isn't just a singular experience. We go back into the soul energy. We work some of our sort of lessons out in spirit. And most of us come right back to this planet and live again. So if we can think of our experience here as two parts, how can I leave energetically better than when I came into the planet? And how can I also leave this place cleaned up and nice and better? I'm cleaning up a house right now that I have to move stuff out of, not a house, an apartment. But that's my goal, is to get the deposit back and all of that, to make sure that as I clean everything out, that it looks good. It's at least the same or better than when the person came into that place. So we should be doing that. This just like if you were selling a house or getting an apartment ready to return back to the landlord, that you want it to be clean. You want to get what give what you're getting. So if we look at that exchange, I think that's going to be important, and it will also clean up everything in our lives a little bit. If we aren't having that back and forth where things are even or things are at least the same or better, then it's time to kind of question what you're doing. This is definitely a work card for many of you. Do you feel like you're part of the group? Do you feel like you're part of the family? If not, find a place where that exists, because when you vibe and cooperate and get along with people this month, you excel. And that's why we see the Tree of Life in this big old Ace of Pentacles that's floating amidst all of the other 9 pentacles around it. So you need to feel that sense of community. And if you don't, move on. That actually shows, for some of you, you're naturally already going through that. You've You've experienced what you need to, you've gotten what you needed to out of the experience, and it's time to graduate. This is a very nice moving on card. The 10 of Wands is about as gentle as it comes because it's still a burden, but it's one that you've chosen, and it's one that's easy, versus Death, the Tower, or even the World, which tend to be a little bit more dramatic or traumatic, depending on which card we're looking at. So it's time to move on. This is about finishing it, but wow, it's going to be amazing. So finish what you've started, and then we've got 10, 10, 10. Imagining that you're at the Olympics and getting like a 10.0 score, it's amazing, right? Back when they used to just have like a 1 to 10 score. Now I know it's more complicated, but 10s across the board, I love it. But part of it is completion, again, not succumbing to pressure, and then when it's time, for some of you, deciding to embark on your own path and go your own way, like that old Fleetwood Mac song, right? You already see some of this in motion. This is why I was talking about paying attention to your dreams. We have the High Priestess. She's reversed. When reversed, she's saying, I don't know. Can I trust myself? Is this happening? Yes, it's happening. Yes, you can trust yourself. Yes, you should listen to what your dreams are showing you. If you look really close, her eyes shine through the eyelids. It's kind of interesting. So, High Priestess. If you focus too much on fear, if you focus too much on failure, you tend to attract situations that reinforce what you're afraid of. When you start to open yourself up to possibilities, then you bring about new things that could teach you that, yeah, you're right, that's possible. So be willing and able and open to be surprised, and start to focus less on, what if this doesn't work? What if my fears come true? What if I'm being misled? And focus instead on, I see this, I want to manifest this. How is this going to happen? Show me how to manifest this. And then you start to trust that. So trust yourself. You're a natural channel this month. Another divine feminine card that's showing you're being set up to receive, but only if you want to receive. The movement is a big piece of this. And by the way, one last message that my guides want me to talk about with this. You're nobody's fool. The High Priestess sees through facades, sees through manipulation. And so you're very persuasive, and you're not going to be as easily misled or persuaded by someone who might be manipulative in your life. That's why you really want to listen to the inner calling or the inner knowledge. All right? All right. In the near future, we have 10 of Wands. Some of you may be needing or wanting to travel a little bit more. This doesn't necessarily need to show like a move from one place to another, but it typically does show movement. It definitely can be a card that does happen when you decide to move. What I would say everybody under this sign, all Capricorns would benefit from right now, is outreach and expansion. So if you feel stuck in anything, talk to someone else. Get outside of your comfort zone. The 10 of Wands is not about hermiting. It's not about keeping things close. It's about saying, why don't I take a walk and see what I see? Why don't I go to the library and research something, even if that's, online? Why don't I talk to someone from a different background, from a different country than I'm at, so I can kind of understand a different perspective? It's getting a bird's eye view, but in order to do that, you have to make the trip. So we see someone here who's already been up to the top of the mountain and now knows what they need to do. She's also sharing the burden here. Typically in the 10 of Wands, we see someone who sees where they want to go, but they're tired. They're carrying the load themselves. So this particular card is saying, you know what? You don't have to do that. You don't have to carry the load. Look at how tired this guy looks. Look at how she is delegating. She's got this, a bull, basically, that is helping her carry this load. So there's intelligence there in the delegation. That's something I would expect to see from the divine feminine energy that we were talking about, like the Empress. So it's going to get easier. We see this person going down the hill, not up the hill. We see the load being shared, and we see someone here that isn't burdened, and they're ready to go wherever they're going. So prepare for this journey ahead. And for some of you, this is also kind of like wrapping up your affairs a little bit. So make sure that if you've never gone through the the work of getting things insured, putting things into a trust, talking to people about what you want, formulating a partnership for business. We're looking at like all of those tangible things. Don't just put it on a handshake or, trust. Put some stuff on paper to protect what you've built so that there can be a legacy if there's future generations, so that you're protected, so that there can be more growth. We need a firm foundation. People ask, how can you ground yourself? I just talked about some methods right there. Look at your money, look at your legal matters, and get really decisive on what it is that you want to do. That's you putting the trunk and the roots in place so that the tree can grow. Because otherwise, there's no foundation and it can fall over. All right. So this is also about making sure that when the time comes, you can fly. So we're just getting everything set up. You're creating the runway so you can take off and fly. Here's how you're showing up this month. We have the Page of Wands upright, which I love. She's throwing that baton in the air and she's saying, you know what? I'm going to let this go. I'm ready to share this. So pages, of course, communicate. And wands are ideas. Wands are gestures. They're nonverbal communication. And she is so open. You don't always see that openness in a page. And she's saying, let's see where this takes me. I'm ready. I'm excited about the potential. So your challenge, if you're not there, is to get there, to get to the point where you feel good enough to say what you need to say and know that it doesn't matter if the other person agrees or not. This includes saying, I love you. This includes quitting. This includes pitching an idea, asking for a raise, whatever it is that you want. It's an idea. It's a belief. It's a feeling. But if you believe in it and you put it out there and you say, listen, I wholeheartedly believe in it. If you don't believe in it in your head, you can think, I'll go somewhere else because I'm that much behind this. When you're that much behind something, when you really kind of are almost like this person, just going in the flow of energy, other people will be pulled into it in a way that will surprise you, okay? So get to the point that you believe and then go for it, release it. So this is coming after that Justice card that I talked about in the channeled messages earlier. And she's creating her own momentum here, which is what I love, okay? Two cards stick together when I was looking, or stuck together, I should say, when I was looking at the environment. Let's look at the first, and they're both reversed. So the first card was the Eight of Cups. Some of you, and this is good, by the way, because we are looking at that mid-month Mercury retrograde period coming through. This is a chance when reversed to let go, to break a cycle. When the card is upright, you can make a cycle, but I feel like some of you need to let something go first. When does Eight of Cups come through? Sometimes it comes through when we're not ready to say goodbye. So there may be an ex in your life and maybe you've been estranged, maybe you separated or divorced. Maybe they've been gone for a while, but they're still popping through your head occasionally. 7 and 8 of Cups work together that way. But this particular period of time is coming through to say, it happens in retrogrades regularly, by the way. So retrogrades always give us a chance to revisit. It's kind of like a report card in spiritual sense. So the report card is saying, what's your progress on this? Have you passed? Are you ready to graduate? Because we have other things, but if you want to stay at the same level, we'll let you stay. But I feel like there's something that's awaiting graduation or release. So let, to the best of your ability, it go. If not completely, then maybe next retrograde. But see what you can do. If you can fully let it go this time, again, looking at those center cards, wow, something will happen pretty quickly for you. But it is sort of dependent on this open door. 8 of Cups can be a second chance. So it can actually be quite positive for some of you. You can pick up something that you didn't finish. It could be as practical as a GED or a diploma. It could be a goal that you set for yourself that you've put other people first, and now you're deciding, all right, it's my turn. It can also be something that you overlooked, but because of the energy of retrograde that's coming up, you see it from a different perspective right now. Good. Then pick it up and say, I see you, and I'm going to finish this. And then take as long as you need to, okay? That's how I'm reading the 8 of Cups for you. You're either going to graduate or you're going to complete. So pick up something and say, I choose to start this particular cycle, and we'll look at it again the next retrograde and see where you're at. You have time. But something needs to be revisited or resolved. For many of you, this has to do with recovery, and it doesn't have to just be financial. It could be emotional recovery. It could be recovering from an addiction, some sort of recovery. It can also be physical. So those of you that have gone through any sort of surgery. So you're beginning the recovery. 8 of Cups and 7 of Pentacles. And it takes a little time. You don't rush it. I love this particular card. In fact, a lot of times I dig in this deck to show it because we see a fresh cutting here from maybe it's a grapevine or something like that. And we see the roots forming, but we see that it's a fresh cutting, so it's going to take time for that to grow into something new. This is one of the few cards where we see patience. He's kind of working his magic. You can see him healing it and trusting what's going on versus the typical impatience that comes through in that particular card. So I'm going to pull up the traditional one and remind everybody right now that patience is one of the most important pieces to being able to recover, to being able to manifest. So don't be sort of hasty, if you will, when it comes to this. Really embrace and go through all the different feels and say, yeah, this isn't exactly what I hoped or thought it would be, but it's exactly the experience that I need to feel. And I'm not going to be able to find this card, but the traditional one, you would see a guy kind of leaning on a shovel, and he looks at all of this stuff. Here it is. Okay. And he wants it to grow faster. So here's your traditional 7 of Pentacles. He's like, I'm still waiting on this. And in this one, I really love what Chris-Anne did with this deck because she showed how you should be facing it, which is, I don't see it yet. My eyes are closed, but I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep working my magic and trusting that this will happen. This can lead to a lack of manifestation. We still need to know both of these decks because what makes this deck cool is I can contrast it with the traditional run. So anyway, patience is key. Recovery is underway. There may be an existing test that's coming through one more time because this is a cyclical repeat. And this usually has with it a test attached to it. So sometimes there is a test of, are you going to overextend yourself again? Are you going to push your body too far? Are you going to push your finances too far? Are you going to be hasty and do something before you've done the research? So the answer to all of these is no. You're going to slow down. You're going to recognize your limits, and you're going to be patient. That's how you overcome the 2 of these cards together, which told an interesting story. It's in the environment. So what's happening is people around you are testing this for you. Are you ready? They could give you an opportunity. Do you want this? So you have these tests that are coming through in the environment. Slow down, evaluate them, and really feel them out before you jump forward. All right. You're going to have a busy month. You're managing a lot. 8 of Wands. But I actually like the 8 of Wands. 7 of Wands, I usually say you're working hard but not smart. With the 8 of Wands, you seem to be doing just fine. Remember that you're not alone. The one sort of illusion with the 8 of Wands is that it's just you. If I were to look at, I'm trying to remember which deck has this. I think it's the Little Prince has a great version of this. You actually see a bunch of people sitting at a campfire or whatever. There's a couple of other decks. I think Wildwood has a really cool card where they've set the stage for everyone to show up, but they haven't yet. But anyway, 8 of Wands, what can happen is sometimes you get lost in the shuffle or there's a crowded room. There's a lot of voices. You just want to make sure that you're being heard and seen and not kind of like succumbing to all of this sort of busyness, okay? But for those of you that have a small business, this is a great card. It shows that there's predictable revenue, predictable client energy coming through. For those of you at school or at work, it shows me that you'll be able to manage all that comes your way. If you're retired, there's a lot of activities that are availing themselves to you. All across the board, 8 of Wands is positive. The only thing that I can ever find as a reader is that sometimes you forget you're not alone. Sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle. Sometimes you lose perspective. But I have to reach for those because 8 of Wands is usually a desirable card. And that's good, and it's in possibility space. So you have a chance to get a lot done if you put your mind to it. Ace of Cups in the outcome. It's love, it's passion, it's inspiration. Are you looking for love this month? You have a great chance at getting it. Are you looking to inspire yourself or others? You have a great chance to do so. Are you looking to heal your heart space after a difficult period? Looking pretty good here. This is a great card to sort of have in the outcome. So, of course, it can be love. And you have so many cards this month. You know, I read love in the expanded forecast, but I can already say it's a good month to date. But you may be pulling in someone from inconvenient location. This could be a long distance romance for some of you. You also need to work through some of your own stuff here. Some of your financials need to be improved so that when you enter into a marriage or relationship, there's no debt. Some of you just have some inner healing, emotional or physical, that needs to be worked on first. And this is the time to really put that into motion. When you combine these, let's just say that they were upright. This tells me that you're setting a good cycle for healing to happen, because this shows me that there's a return on that and it's going to happen. And this is about recovery. So just set the intention right now and you'll see progress in that particular arena. All right. We'll look more at love in a moment, but yes, I see love coming through this month for you. It's a good time for deepening a relationship, finding a relationship, or being a very sort of attractive energy for others. So it bodes well across all aspects of your life. All right, we're going to expand the forecast. Just a quick note while I get ready for that. If you're brand new, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already so you can join the discussion. And you can also look at the pinned comment for how to find me on social media. And if you do give back a little bit, I will say thank you at the end and call out your name. All right, let's go into the next portion, which is going to be the expanded forecast. And the expanded forecast is a chance for me to look at specific areas that over the past almost 3/4 of a decade that I've been doing this, that I know you care about. And that usually includes your health, your wealth and career, your love and relationships, and where you're headed. So health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to take a look at it. All right, let me take a quick drink and then we'll move into this portion, starting with the health card. I always like to disclaim when I get into the health portion that I'm looking at possibilities and energy around that, things that can actually create things in your life. But if you're feeling something in your body or in your mind and you need help, reach out to a professional. I'm here to help you with metaphysics, not so much your physical self. All right, your health card this month, spiritual growth. So this is definitely metaphysics. It goes right by what I just said. I was mentioning that as one of the positives of going through grief, my third eye is wide open. You know, together we all go through this. Even when we look at like October 31st or November 1st, and like when we're right around the Day of the Dead and Halloween, there's certain times in our life and there's certain times in the calendar where the energy is more available. Even through Easter it was too. Anytime that there's sort of like a spiritual connection to death and rebirth, it opens us up. And as we're looking at cyclical changes for Capricorn this month, where you're ending something, you're completing something, there's always a little bit of celebration and mourning. You know, if you look back at your like high school yearbook or something, I'm sure you can see pictures of people that are either beaming with smiles or crying or a little bit of both. College as well, or weddings, funerals, graduations, big moments carry with them joy and sadness, right? Because it's a little bit of both. You're going through a little bit of both this month, and it's going to open you up. Your heart is opening. That's why I love this Ace of Cups, and I love that she put it right over the heart. So your heart is opening up. We see a beautiful butterfly, which I haven't seen before there, and that third eye is wide open. So all you have to do this month is say, I trust myself, I'm ready to receive, and I'm ready to be surprised in a positive way, to receive more than I thought I could, because I deserve it. Not in a sort of self, you know, like this isn't just about, this isn't sort of like bragging or anything like that. You're just saying like, I've done the spiritual work. I'm ready to receive abundance and love and light in the highest forms. Bring it on, all right? And if you start to open to see it and to experience it, you'll start to see it. You have to be open or it won't come through. So people that don't believe in ghosts and say, I've never seen one, well, you're not open to it. You have to be open to seeing things. You have to slow down. You have to say, why don't I just open my mind up that there could or couldn't be? And that openness, the questioning, kind of cracks the door open for possibilities. So maybe you've had bad luck in love, in career, or just in general. But you're saying, what if things are about ready to change? What if I change things up and start to reinvent myself this month? What if? I always talk about what if. Then just take the what if and say, I am. And so say, what if I am ready for this? And then just say, I am ready for this. But we have to kind of like step into it. So start with the what if, then cut the what if and just say, I am. I am ready for spiritual growth. I am ready for abundance. You are ready for spiritual growth, by the way, because we have the high priestess in the crowning position. You're just maybe questioning what's happening. And I did when I first opened up too. It's kind of like you see stuff in movies, you maybe always thought it was possible, but then when something happens, it's you don't accept it at first, right? The same is true when you experience a crush. The same is true when death happens. There's a little bit of denial, right? That person can't be gone. This great thing can't be happening. When it comes to your intuition, this great thing can be happening. And the synchronicities that you're seeing aren't accidental. So open up, keep focusing, and you'll get more of that. Let's take a look at this again, energetically and metaphysically, and see what could be manifesting in your body and in your life as well. A quick warning for those of you that are just working really hard. The 10 of Wands, even though it is unburdened in this particular deck, typically does show stress and strain on the back. And that would include, all the way from your upper neck to your tailbone, right? So your entire back, basically. So if you're having some difficulties this month, that's one thing that you want to pay attention to. And the neck can sometimes, we can feel like we're having like a headache or something like that, but it could be, the base, or not the base, but the top of our spine. So give your back some love this month. Make sure that you have, new cushions for your couch and your bed, new pillows, bed springs, what I was going to say there. So bed spring and mattress, make sure all of that stuff has been replaced. It only lasts for so long. Every 7 to 9 years, it's something that you have to replace. So make sure that you have enough support. See a doctor, see a chiropractor, see a massage therapist. Put a little bit of TLC in the back this month. It holds you up. That's kind of like your trunk if we were looking at a tree, and we need to make sure it's strong. Peer pressure could be weighing heavily on you as well. We already talked about headaches. Again, it could be the back. The back and the headaches could be combined for some of you. Recovery in general is possible. You just have to commit to it and basically have good limits this month. Know your boundaries and hold those boundaries. It's pretty positive across the board, I have to say. There's nothing here that I feel like I have to warn you on too much. It's mostly the head and the neck or the back. So those are the areas of sensitivity. When it comes to diet, some of you also might not be eating a fully balanced diet. The 7 of Pentacles tends to be not quite there. So just make sure that you're not eating too much or too little of certain things. And again, you'll have to work with your doctor or nutritionist for that. All right, pretty good messages. And the big thing was you're receiving guidance. Just be so open to that, right? If you are having trouble sleep, you could also do like a sleep study and things like that. There's a lot of different ways to kind of open up to that. Little Apollo is doing just fine when it comes to napping in the background, aren't you, buddy? We can learn a lot from our cats and dogs. They take plenty of naps and seem to... What I love about Apollo is when he knows it's time for a WALK, I won't say it or he'll get excited. He always does the cat-cow stretch where he's going up and down, kind of like a cat would, and just stretching out. It's really cool. Always, before every walk, he does that. And I think that that's important. We don't always stretch before we do something. All right, looking at wealth and opportunities, we have the bat and also the moon in the background here. So bats are misunderstood. I've often used them in the totems before. And here's some cool things about a bat. First of all, amazing ability to hear. Not such a great visual learner, not such a great person at looking at what's in front of them. So this month, when you're listening to someone, not like in a conversation like this, but I'll talk about something I used to do, and maybe this will help you. But like when I was in college, and this was before cell phones, we were actually using tape recorders then. But I would, when it was allowed, I would tape a lecture because a lot of times, especially if I had a longer class, like an hour and a half or 2 hour lecture, I would tape it. So what I'm doing here is very much like college. You can listen to it later. You can close your eyes and listen to things and hear things that you didn't. And what I would do is I would study, I would write out the notes. And then as I was walking across campus, like to go get something to eat, to do laundry, to meet a friend, I would listen to the lecture in my headphones, and or even on the way to, on the day of the test, I'd get up early and I'd listen to, one of the lectures that they kind of gone through everything that was going to be on the test, and it would be there in my head. So when I was taking the test, I could hear it. I was like, oh yeah, I heard that. Okay. So listen. The bat is all about listening, because if you can listen to something again, particularly a recording, or look at what you've written down and kind of hear it or say it out loud, the verbalization of it and then the hearing it is going to be important. So if you wrote out a speech, say it and then listen to it. Record yourself on your phone and listen to it and make sure that it makes sense. Trust me, when you hear yourself speak, you're going to probably be uncomfortable, and you'll be able to find places. Every speaker can find a place where they can do a little bit better, taking out the filler words, making sure that there's more sort of variation in your tone, all of that. So it's all about listening skills this month and validating the listening skills, and also making sure that other people are receiving, because sometimes they're having the problem. They're blind to it, or they're not listening enough. So you can check with them afterwards and say, so this is really important. I just want to check in. Can you tell me what is it that I asked for, and if you have any questions? Because then putting them on the spot, they'll be like, oh yeah, wait, what was it that you asked for? So don't be afraid to kind of like do that if you need to, just to test the knowledge and the absorption, because it might take a couple of methods. You may not be a visual learner, you might be an audio learner, you might be someone that needs to write it out. You might need to do a combination of all of those things, and that's going to help you excel and to fix some things in your life, okay? So anyway, very important. And of course, someone mentioning that don't feel like you need to say if you're going to leave, but like if you are, come back later, because this is always available on replay. A lot of times I get questions about that. The bat, the other thing that I'd like to say is you might be getting, like I was, nocturnal energy. So you could be receiving guidance, dreams, and inspiration late at night or early in the morning. Just go with it. It probably isn't going to be consistent, but if you have a lot of energy, have some fun with that energy and see where that energy will take you, okay? When we're gonna now take a look at like how this might be playing out in current jobs or situations. I feel like someone may not be seeing you, but they may be there may be good word of mouth, but something's going on where you could be a little bit more visible. This is kind of like in the distance, in like blending in a little bit. So don't be afraid to be a little bit bolder, is what I would say here. All right, let's look specifically at the cards, and then I'll talk a little bit about the moon as well. All right, so gosh, you have a great ability this month to. It's about who you know, not so much what you know or kind of like what your resume looks like. But if you're trying to find a new job, it's the people that will get you in. You might not also need to move or to travel for a new opportunity. Apply yourself to whatever task is at hand, because we have 10s across the board. So I think you're really poised for success. Capricorn ascendant especially right now, right? So super important. Let me see what else is going on here for you. Your passion also, like if we just look at down the center here, deep, past, present, and also what you're receiving, you are channeling a lot of cool stuff right now when it comes to creativity, when it comes to big ideas. So definitely share that sort of passion with other people. That's an attractive force. Get the finances under control if they aren't already there. The Seven of Pentacles usually shows recovery after a period of strain. The strain can be a natural sort of effect of maybe buying a house, paying for some sort of big upgrade or improvement. So you'll want to just take it a little bit easier right now, not stress yourself out, not strain things as much. If you're being underpaid or underappreciated, this is a chance to show your contributions and also talk about reputation here. And you probably will get what you're looking for, because everything else looks fantastic, but there's a slight shortage or a slight deficit here. Otherwise, I get a happy ending with this, with the Ace of Cups. So if you need to move for something, I see good movement with that sort of relocation. If you need to advocate for yourself, everything's good as long as you believe in yourself. Because if you don't, then they're not going to either. And if they don't believe in you, then it's time to go somewhere else as well. Because everything here, I'm seeing like really positive energy and positive movement. The moon is about looking at things that we're afraid of or things that make us uncomfortable. But once we kind of deal with it, we're okay. All right. All right. So that was health and wealth. Let's take a look at love and relationships here. So we have Rabbit and the Fox. Interesting sort of energy with the two of these. First of all, the Rabbit shows me fertility and abundance. So for those of you that might be trying to get pregnant, that's a good symbol for that. The fox can be an interesting symbol that sometimes comes through with depending on the deck, it can be like 7 of Swords, trying to be sneaky and get away with things. So let's look at this in a few different aspects. I always like to break it down into those of you that are already in a relationship and want to know what to do, those of you that might be looking for love or relationships or partnerships, and those of you that are single and happy but still curious about how you'll interact with others. So first, for the partnership energy, it's pretty good. Again, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. Some of you might be moving in together, and this is a little bit tricky if you've never done that before. So even if it's been a long time partnership, let's say you finally decided to say, like, let's get engaged or let's get married or let's try this out, let's just move in. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, it's a little bit awkward at the beginning. Even a new roommate situation can constitute the same thing that we're looking here. But you're going to work through it. You fought to sort of get where you're at right now. So a little bit of struggle, but a lot of payoff. The other thing that I'm seeing here is a desire to sort of like rekindle the emotional piece. And it's already still there. But what's going on in the environment is one or both of you may be a little distracted. 10 of Wands and 8 of Cups. These are traveling cards. And the 7 of Pentacles is saying, all right, you're putting a lot of energy into work. You're maybe trying to put some energy into the place that you're living in as well. Don't forget each other. Don't forget making time for one another. The other thing is, this is more for relationships that might be in a little bit of a trial period right now, or a little bit of something chaotic here. What I'm seeing here is that one or both of you feels like, I need a little bit more, or you hurt me. We need to work on this. So, I mean, the good news here is that we see cards of getting to the next level. So as long as the partner invests in it and as long as what they're investing is enough for you, good. This isn't an equal card though. This can be like a 70-30 split. Same way that the 6 of Pentacles isn't even. It's a 60-40 split. But if we take the percentages out, if I see 6 or 7 of Pentacles and I'm looking at a love match, I'll say, this other party may not be capable of giving you what you're looking for. Is it enough for you? And you have to really do the soul searching and think, is it enough? If it is, great. If it isn't, people can only change to certain degrees, and there may always be a slight imbalance there. So that's what I see. But for the rest of you, I'm looking at a chance to spend some more time together, to trust that you know each other pretty well, and you're going to work on being there for each other. There are times where the other party is going to need more than you, and vice versa. Just make sure that eventually it all evens out. If you're looking for love this month, it's a great time to find love. The only thing that I want you to sort out is your finances or your health, because that's in the environment, or wherever you're working. If it's a little just, it's not what you're looking for, this needs to be sorted out as well. We have the honesty and the sort of abundance energy that's coming through. So I already mentioned this earlier. There is a chance for abundance to come through in money and also pregnancy. So existing relationships, look for that. Don't try to outfox each other. Just be honest. This is true of new relationships too. I feel like the more you can just be honest with each other, the better. And if you try to hide something, particularly with finances, it ends up coming out anyway. So just be honest. If you're ready to meet someone, one of the ways that you could meet them is through travel or through kind of like outreach or community energy, because to me, this is your extended family, your community, your culture. And so the more you mix and mingle, the better the chances you're going to find somebody. When and if you do find somebody, we have like the Page of Wands energy as you. So this is someone who gets you on a mental level. Also, there would be physical attraction with that person as well, but it's the mental piece that really kind of gets you interested. So yeah, I see love coming through. And if you're ready, go for it. This could be someone from the past, and if it is, it's we have like this beautiful water energy coming through. A lot of pages. So pages are fun because there's a playful energy. There's a lot of interaction. There's not this sense of control, like one person trying to control the other one. So for those looking for new love, it should feel kind of easy and kind of fun. And if it's too much work, that could be a red flag that this isn't the right course right now. Okay. Some of you may have seen this person coming before they're coming, especially if you started to open up. So there could be a synchronicity in place here. But there's so much going on this month. Don't let something go. Don't lose track of yourself. Like I said, sometimes love comes through at an inconvenient time. If you're single and happy, you're still surrounded by so much love and so many people. You still have to manage people this month. And I think that the important thing for you is to not overextend yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Don't say yes to everything. Don't be afraid to push back. Pick and choose, but definitely do accept some of these invitations because it's going to bring something exciting. It doesn't have to be love. It could just be something that makes you passionate, something that's really cool. I see that on the horizon for you. All right, let's move on to your destiny card. We have the house here. The house card is reversed. Some of you may be, as the card flies through the air, some of you may be deciding to move to a new house. Some of you might be doing what I'm doing for like a loved one, moving someone else out of a house, emptying out a house or an apartment. Some of you might be cleaning. This can be, spiritual cleaning, spring cleaning. Good thing to do, by the way, because sometimes you just find things that you forgot that you had. If you have to do it like I'm doing it for someone who's gone, you are reminded of things. It's like, oh, look at, you learn about them, and it's like a way of reconnecting. Cleaning can be a really cleansing sort of thing. It can also be overwhelming. So if you feel overwhelmed, ask for help. You've got a lot of help here. But I look at the house, as many of you know who follow me and watch my readings, as a spiritual metaphor. So clean up your spiritual house. Make room for new things. You can physically make room for things, but then you also mentally and emotionally make room for things. And when you do that, someone or something's going to come into that spiritual house. And could be love, it could be an opportunity, but the sooner you clean it out, the sooner you open it up, the sooner that manifests. All right? Let's move on to the big idea. The big idea is one overarching idea that can kind of help you stay in the best possible energy. It's like the catalyst, but expanded. So let's see what the big idea is for you. Oh my goodness, I love the Three of Wands. What a great card for you. All right, Three of Wands, sure it was reversed, but whether it's reversed or it's upright, here's the interesting thing. It shows that things are already happening. So what happens when the card is reversed is two things. One, you're not looking at the synchronicities or the signs and the symbols around you. Or you're thinking that it needs to take longer than it actually needs to take. It can happen faster. Whatever it is you're trying to do, it can happen faster. And it's happening faster. The other thing here is that you might be asked to go counter to the tide. I would only see that with this Three of Wands because she's a surfer, right? So normally Three of Wands energy, you see someone up on the top of a hill or cliff. They're looking out at the ocean. There's ships coming into the pier. Different decks will show the person either on the cliff or on the pier. Sometimes you see someone meeting the ship. In this deck, what I love is that they actually embody both. You are both the person and the ship. I mean, the surfboard is basically the nautical vehicle here. So I always say I like a very active Three of Wands. You can't get more active than getting out there and surfing the energy. So get out and make it happen. That was an old Gloria Estefan song. But yeah, make it happen. You can do it right now. I think Mariah Carey has one too. But that's basically it. You can be the agent of change. You are the person waiting, the person creating, and you're also the vehicle for the change. It's a very modern and a very enlightened view of the Three of Wands. It's happening, and you can make it happen faster. We're not forcing it. We're just acknowledging that you're a part of that and you're going to actively participate in that. Usually carries with it a 3-month sort of timeline. So the next quarter year looks really, really good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the Gloria song was Get on Your Feet, Get Up and Make It Happen. And then I think the Mariah song was just Make It Happen. So we'll pull both of those together. Get on your feet, get out there and do it and make it happen. It's already happening and you want to be a part of that. Okay? That was a cool message. So thank you, Capricorn, for that. Let's move on to your blessings and blocks. Something to embrace, something to either avoid or somehow transform. All right, so let's take a look at both at once, and then I'll break them down for you. That's your blessing, believe it or not. And this is your block. Okay, so let's break these down. All right, so for your blessing card this month, it's a sort of surprise, but not so much. You'll notice I listen to a lot of music, and I'm reminded of music when I talk about this. I think it's another way for us to connect to symbols. There's a song by Everything But the Girl called 25th of December, and there's a line in this song about like what he was looking for was right there at his feet. He just needs to pick it up. It was Ben. Usually it's his wife that sings, but Ben Watts was singing. Really beautiful song. You should listen to it if you haven't. But he keeps repeating, it was there at my feet, come on and pick it up. So we're looking at what's at her feet right there. It's the key. It's the key to get through the door. And it really goes right with what I was talking about, the self-confidence piece. And the knowing yourself piece. And then the Empress piece, which is you don't need anybody else. If people said you couldn't do it before or you weren't enough, in reality, they were the one projecting their own insecurity on you, and they weren't being enough of a support system for you when you needed it. They didn't give you the constructive criticism and or the support that was necessary. And as a result, it created a little bit of a scar. But I'm here today to help you lift the scar and remind you that that key is right there at your feet. You just have to open it and open the door, right? So that's it. That's the most important thing. She doesn't believe in herself. That's why she's kind of sitting there. But the door is there and it's ready, and there's more to come if she just walks through that door. So the blessing is you have the power. There's a block that's a part of this, which is something from the past makes me think that I can't do it, but I can do it. You absolutely can do it. What's the block? Authority. Can't get more of an authority card than the Emperor, basically. So the person from the past could have been teacher, parent, aunt, uncle, mentor, some sort of an authority, even an older brother or sister, but an authority figure that stepped in and felt like they needed to boss you around. They may still be in your life. They may be gone. They may be estranged. Doesn't really matter. But you are the Emperor, the Empress now. You are the one that holds the chess piece and then the power. We have the Ankh there. You can do this. And we see what looks like Mars to me behind him. So you don't have to fight the fight anymore, right? You don't have to prove that you're the one. You are all of this and more. So many songs are coming through my head as I'm looking at all the cards here. But yeah, you're everybody. So it's like the Shaka Khan song, you're every woman, you're every man, you're everything. That's what I would have put in that one, is you're everybody. So don't feel like you need that person for permission, acknowledgement, gratification, reception, any of that. You can do this. So together they're telling the same story. This person, place, or experience somehow made you overlook the key in the background. And this is also connected to this, which is you are the vehicle to make this change happen. I'm here to just show you some stuff. You already know much of this, and I'm just reminding you of your power, hopefully. Okay? Deep thoughts today. We're going to move on to the viewer's choice now and the reader's choice. So the way that this works is I'm going to take a look at the cards in front of us, and I'm going to pick some trends that I see and let you vote on those. And then I'm going to pick something that I want to look at, and then I'll choose to look at that while you're voting. So just let you see what I'm looking at while I'm doing this. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, so I think one of the challenges for your sign this month possibly could be like, how are you going to manage all the people and the community energy? So we'll put that as the first choice for you. So how to manage, here's a better word, how to be a leader. That's really what we're looking at. It's not managing the people, it's how to be a leader. So that's option number one. And option number two is about manifestation. Let's see, how to better manifest, And option number four for you is listening. I think for some of you, it's how to get others to listen to you. How to get others to listen to me. And then I'm going to give you a fourth option here. I'm going to look at the spiritual house cleaning. That's what I just decided. Oh yeah, spiritual growth. What's incoming? What do you need to pay attention to? So you have a lot of great options to choose from. So while you're looking at those, I'm going to focus on cleaning up the spiritual house, since that's a really important piece that sometimes gets overlooked. So what can you do to clean the house so that energetically new love and new opportunity can come through? That's what I would want to know. Therefore, I'm choosing to look at it for you. Seven of Cups reverse. Know who you are. It's back to what I was talking about, even with the Four of Swords, slowing down enough to make these decisions. But when we look at the card in the upright position, it's usually about brainstorming or exploration or ideation, seeing what's out there, figuring out what's possible. It's more powerful sometimes when it's reversed because it's about decision time. So you are on the precipice of deciding, of figuring out what's important. And when you know, and when you clean out the clutter, which is mental clutter. So for many of you, your house is just fine. It's your head that's going in too many directions. You could be focusing on, well, what if this happens or what if that happens? You could be thinking about someone from the past. You could be worrying about why someone else hasn't come in. I want you to kind of go back into, when we looked at the channel messages, focusing on an ace, saying, this is where I want to put my energy. In this particular deck, I'll pull it out maybe later. I don't want to look at all the cards because we're still using it, but the Ace of Pentacles looks like a bulb. Like I have a spring bulb behind me, that hyacinth. It looks just like a bulb that you would plant in the ground, which I will do with that when I'm done. So that smells so fragrant, by the way. If any of you have had hyacinths, my whole house smells like hyacinth. So make your mind up. The more you can focus, the better. And distraction is the only thing that's going to hold you back or delay or confuse the eventual manifestation. So let's take a look at what you've chosen. Spiritual growth. I'm surprised. That's cool. What's incoming? Great question. Let's take a look and see what's coming through. I'll wait a moment just to make sure. Sometimes at the last minute, something changes in the poll here, but let's see. Yes, we got by 32% spiritual growth. So let's take a look and see what is coming through. Ask and you shall receive. My guides have a sense of humor. I'm like, I don't want to touch it. It'll come through if it's supposed to. So this is precisely what I was talking about. I get excited with synchronicities. So spiritual growth. What you're trying to manifest, first of all, a manifestation is coming through. And I just did it in real time. So this is an example of, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. And funny aside, I have some friends who like to play, like, once in a while they do old-fashioned card games and board games, and they invited me over, and there was like a card game that they were trying to do, and it was about trying to pull the right cards, and I kept pulling them. They're like, it's no fair because you can manifest with the cards. So they're right. I was like, oh, okay, so I need to pull this one. And I would kind of go through the deck, and I would, I was pretty lucky. It may not be every card, but I was getting like 75% of it, and I was beating everyone. They're like, we're switching. This is not the game that we're going to play with you. So if you're ready, here's the little fun game that you can play with yourself is, I want you to think about looking for a sign in life, a synchronicity, and start to pay attention first to picking up those little symbols. Say, wonder if I can see a butterfly today. I wonder if I can find a coin on the ground. Or for me, I see cards all the time, playing cards and oracle decks, and like people, I don't know why in LA there's a bunch of these cards on the ground, but I'll see them a lot. So I'll look at what I even see in the card, because that's the universe picking a card for me. But look and see what the universe is showing you, and then start to say, all right, clearly I'm in the flow of manifestation. I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to manifest things. Then see if you can go a step further and manifest bigger. If you're looking for a house, if you're looking for a relationship, you can graduate up to that. But maybe try to find some coins on the ground, see if someone will randomly say hi to you or whatever. Try to manifest these situations, and you can start to work on the manifestation energy. That's what's coming through. The other thing here for you when I look at Ace of Pentacles is for many of you, the ability to channel and execute what's coming through. So you're very productive this month. I know it's not the normal spiritual awakening that you would want me to kind of talk about here, but you're able to just sort of flow through the difficult phase of writing, doing, organizing, the production aspect of it, which as a creator here on YouTube, there's a lot of production. So whenever production flows easily, I'm happy. It's a hard thing sometimes. And then finally, grounding yourself is going to be the important factor in your spiritual development. This is the roots in the tree to being able to receive everything else. So by saying, I know who I am, I know what I want, I believe in myself, I'm ready to receive this and higher, I'm awake and I'm aware of what's going on, I'm listening to the signs as well, I'm an active participant, I'm not just waiting for the universe to give it to me. What'll suddenly start to happen is manifestations will meet you head on, and you just have to kind of laugh it off like I did and say, all right, that's what we thought, I'm ready for it, let's keep going, okay? So you're already in the flow. You're going to see synchronicities like I just did and manifestations like I just did, okay? So now we're going to move on to the special portion of the reading, which is sun, rising, and moon. Again, a reminder, you can always use the entirety of the reading for any aspect of your chart, including Venus and other placements. But what I'm going to do is something special here for those of you that want a little bit more of guidance. A lot of times people will say, can I watch it for my moon? What should I do if it's in my moon? So this portion will help you sharpen it up. And because I want it to be good for everyone, including the sun sign, we'll start with the sun sign. The sun sign is what most of you are joining me for. It's if you were born under Capricorn. So we're looking at this as just an expression of your true self and what you really need to focus on to be the best you this month. So let's take a look right now at your sun sign message and see what wants to come through. The Wheel of Fortune. Again, it's a good month for everybody, but the Wheel of Fortune is particularly good for sun sign. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is reversed. You can read this a couple of ways. I like to look at it as a change of fortune and a change of direction. Because the wheel is just like it sounds, it can be a directional thing. So if you think of a steering column, sometimes you have to crank it a few times when you're making a sharp turn. So you do it before the car kind of follows suit. Or if you're in a nautical vehicle, you wouldn't do it that fast, but you might have to crank a few times and it takes a while for it to catch up. So when you're working with the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes you have to crank it around a little bit to get it in the right direction. So sun signs, redirection, a new change in your fortune, and hopefully more abundance. Typically, cards like the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Wands and the Lovers, I like to read them almost as universally positive. But when this card is reversed, you have to make some changes to activate or to embrace it. It can show that you might be slowing or heading in the wrong direction. So just a little bit of a change, just a little bit of a redirection brings you back into that path of abundance. Okay? So all of the things we talked about earlier, really making sure that it feels right, that it sounds right, that all of these things are working in concert, that's going to be vital to your success this month. Okay? So let's focus now on rising or ascendant. So your rising sign, your ascendant, it's the same thing. It's how you project yourself to the world, particularly in the areas of work, but it can also just be for those of you that might be public figures, celebrities, or just trying to work on your reputation. This is sort of where the rising and ascendant would be. It's not necessarily who you are, it's how you want people to perceive you and how you present yourself to others. So let's take a look and see what's coming through in this area, and then we'll talk about it. Movement, it's quite good actually. So for my rising and ascendants out there, we have the Fool card. I love this Fool. People always ask, what crystal is she holding? Same crystal that I have back here, right by the hyacinth. It's the amethyst. Amethyst is a card of protection. Really good a gem of protection. It's a really good thing to kind of have on you as you step into something new or unknown. And you can wear it anywhere in your body. Earrings, a necklace, bracelet, ring, carry it in your pocket for all I care. It's a really good protection symbol. So you're being asked to move into something new, into something unusual, and you need to protect yourself as you go there. Sometimes it can feel like the world is changing, I'm not sure of myself, ground yourself again. You can use that crystal as a grounding technique and step into something new, something exciting. So many of you are being asked to go out of your comfort zone in work. You might be stepping into a situation that you've never done. You might be in a relationship for the first time, and this is weird, or out of a relationship for the first time. Whatever it is, you feel a little exposed, but you're going to be okay. The Fool can have fun. That's what I like to remind people with this. When they're at their best, the Fool energy is really about exploring, embracing, not overthinking. Yes, you want to prepare for the worst. So this Fool, the only thing that's lacking in this one is the dog. I do wish it had the dog, because it does show that you have companionship, loyalty, that you want to pay attention to the signs. But with this one, it seems to be more focused on what you're creating and what you're opening up. So she's opening up a portal here beneath her, and she's using that particular crystal to protect herself. So whenever I do readings, you see I have a couple of candles there. I have candles behind me. I set intentions and I welcome in higher energies. So using crystals, using candles, good ways to sort of like step into something new. Having something in your pocket, even like a polished crystal, is fine. You could just carry something like this in your pocket, like a quartz crystal of some sort, and have that with you. Okay? All right. Let's take a look now at the moon sign. I'm just going to leave the camera up as I do this. The moon sign for many of you. One last thing. We'll go back to, we'll talk about it at the end. We're going to look at moon sign. The moon sign is the part of you that you might be afraid to show to the world. It can show up in relationships, but it's not specifically that. It's really our true desires, our fears, the areas where we can grow in our life. And, you already kind of got a message with this, which is to listen to your heart, listen to what it's telling you. All right, so let's see how that sort of secret side of yourself wants to kind of come through this month. What is it that you have to pay attention to? The inner child is a big piece of this. So we have the King of Wands, a lot of reversals here, but King of Wands in reverse in the moon sign is saying, I'm a little stubborn. And I feel like if it doesn't make sense to me, I have a hard time accepting it. Capricorn Capricorn moon definitely has a hard time with that. So what you're trying to do is make sense of matters of the heart. You're trying to understand, why did my best friend do this? Why did my ex do this? Why did my mom say this? And maybe they didn't know why they were doing it. Maybe there are just some things where they did what they wanted to because it felt good, but it doesn't necessarily make sense on paper. So what you want to do is think to yourself, why is this important to me? I can't control why they did it. I may not even be able to understand it, but what I can understand and what I can control is the reaction that it's creating in me and what I'm going to do about that. Does this person drive me crazy? If they do, and if I'm consistently trying to control them, which is what this card is doing, it's trying to be a boss, basically, but the person doesn't want to take the leadership, doesn't want to take the advice or the counsel, it's time that's not well spent. So I think for you, you have to really think about how receptive someone is to your time, energy, and leadership. How maybe they're not listening to even themselves. And sometimes things don't make sense because a person's acting erratically. And so your energy will be better spent on personal development. So whenever I see the King or the Queen of Wands, and it appears anywhere in the spread, I would say, focus on getting your life together. If we take him and put him upright and keep him in the moon sign, well, oh my goodness, so many great things can happen. It can be a sense of personal healing and empowerment. It can be not being afraid of something, overcoming a fear or an anxiety. It's a really good card to have in the moon space. So I would say this month, who cares what sister, brother, mother, father, teacher, friend, etc. is thinking? Instead, focus on, where am I? What's going on? And if I am triggered by this, what does that say about me? Not so much about them. It's all about inner growth this month in the moon. So focus on getting it together. And I think you can actually get really organized and past a fear this month. And again, just a quick sort of review of the three, because I like to bring them all together since I'm looking at the sign inclusive of everything this month. When we were looking at sun, I saw like a change of fortune, a new direction, and a chance to sort of like really embrace opportunity. When I was looking at rising, it was assessing risk, stepping into something new, really focusing on the creation process, not so much about the past, focusing right here, right now, and being very present. And then on the moon, the same sort of thing is you can use your energy to make progress in leaps and bounds, or you can have it drain out by trying to control, influence, and help people that aren't ready or willing to receive it. So focus on personal development. But altogether, we see a common sort of thread here, which is growth and development, a new chapter, and then this sort of empowerment. So we can still see how, even just for the sign itself, I'm seeing some really good energy. You know, this is a good month for you, I have to say, like across the board. The past 2 signs have been really good. Sagittarius was great. Capricorn, even better. I feel like this is why I don't freak out about retrogrades. Sometimes they help us get to a better space. They help us let go of stuff. They help us clean things out. So always approach things with possibility rather than fear or frustration, right? We're going to meditate in just a moment, but if you haven't yet subscribed, why the heck not? Please do it. It's free. Share this with someone else if you like it too, so that they can experience what we do here. Let them know that this is time well spent. Hit the thumbs up as well. I appreciate it. If you watch this on replay, please consider also putting a comment below. That engagement helps serve this up a little bit. I've noticed lower engagement. I would love to see it a little bit higher. Join me on social media if you can as well, and I will remind you of upcoming videos. And again, you can continue to connect with me here live if you'd like to, and show some support through super stickers, super chats, and memberships. Okay, so let's get ready for the next portion. We are going to go into the meditation. And the meditation is very short. Sometimes people drop off, but I'd love you to stick around for this. We're going to connect with the earth. We're going to ground your energy and set you up to receive. So we'll do that for about a minute or a minute and a half. And then, as you can see with the parentheses underneath, I'll give you a chance to ask a question. So if there's a question about something big in your life, save it. Don't type it out. And then we'll look at that together. Okay? Let me give you a chance to vote on which instrument you'd like me to use. And we'll get into the meditation then. So I have a singing bowl, and I also have a crystal pyramid. You can vote on either of those that you like, and I'm happy to choose either. All right, so close your eyes if you will. Imagine that you are outside. It's midday, warm, a nice summer day. You can smell perhaps spring flowers or summer flowers in the background. So it could be honeysuckle, it could be some sort of a spring bulb if it's springtime where you're at. But just smell the beautiful energy of abundance around you. So the grass, the flowers, maybe even the smell of people cooking food outside if you like that too. But if you're near the beach, you can smell the salt water. Something that really connects you to the experience. It makes this much more relatable. Feel the warmth and the energy of the sun above you. Beautiful sort of cylinder of light that's forming around your body. It's directly overhead and exaggerated a bit in this meditation, almost as if you could see a beam coming down. And as you touch it, you can almost push the beam around a little bit. You can play with the light. So you are protected in this beam of light, and you are most importantly connected to the earth itself. If you'd like to, lay down on the ground, feeling the soft grass against your neck and your back and your arms as you, almost like this beautiful cushion as you lay back. Taking a deep breath and let go of everything that you don't need or want anymore. Let it be an offering to the planet, to the plants, to the trees, to the flowers around you. Say, I no longer need these lessons or this lesson. I'm ready instead to open my heart to receive something bigger, better, more beautiful. And see the green energy around your heart space start to open up. Imagine that there's a beautiful flower that's growing out of that space that's reaching towards the sun. And as it opens up, I want you to feel like you also are opening up to intuitive guidance, to receiving love, to seeing the opportunities, manifesting the opportunities, and embracing these opportunities. Send a little bit of love towards the planet as well. It's in more need of our love and caring now than it's been at any point in its existence. And connect with one another if you'd like to as well, seeing a field of beautiful green flowers and energy that you can connect to as well. If you could look up at the planet, you would just see flower after flower after flower kind of lighting up the surface. All these beautiful colors, just like a beautiful rainbow moving in and out. See yourself as a part of this lovely sort of tapestry, and continue to breathe and meditate and open up to the possibilities as I play the singing bowl. And after that, we'll take a look at the final card. Taking a deep breath, feeling this sense of almost buzzing energy that's lit up each and every cell in your body. Remember that you are the source, that you are powerful, that you are capable, that you are ready to receive. Focus now on whatever final question you may still have for me, and I'm going to take a look at the cards and see what guidance is coming through. A nice card for you here for the final card. So we have the King of Swords coming through, King of the Mountain here, and basically is showing for many of you it's a resounding yes here. So as a yes/no card, this is a yes. The power and the opportunity this month exists within the area of communication. What I really like about this card is his ability to tailor the message for the audience. So one of the keys to your success this month is to remember that one size does not fit all. That we often have to adjust and change and communicate in order to connect with different people. So particularly when it comes to communication, one size does not fit all. Also, one size does not fit all in respect to what makes us happy in our life. We have to sort of realize that we are singular, we are a little bit different. We're going to do something that may not be popular for everyone else. You may be asked about your opinion on something and how much you trust and sort of like embrace what it is that you are, what it is that you're trying, is going to say a lot to the other person about how they should react. So put your best foot forward, believe in yourself, speak with authority and with confidence, and know that you'll be able to tailor your communication to any audience here. It's a really good card. Being outspoken, being brief, and to the point, also very good. I'm never upset if I see a king or a queen of swords upright because they contain all the positive energies of that. So basically, you can do it. Even if you don't feel like you can do it, the way that you say something or do something is exactly why someone wants you, because it's you, it's real, it's authentic, and there's something about it that is basically saying, pay attention to this person. All right, so before the construction begins again, I can hear it. Let's go ahead and wrap up today. I'd like to say thanks to everybody. Whether it's your first time here or you've been a long-time viewer, I show up for you, and I honestly feel amazing as I do the readings, and it has a lot to do with the type of people that show up here. So thank you for making this a great community, for working on yourselves, and for letting me do this. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it. So if I don't say that often enough, I'm saying it today. All right, so let's take a look at some of the new members that might have joined. And I'm just going to say a quick shout out to you. And here's the construction. So we'll start with Kayla Croy. Thank you for rejoining after 8 months. I think it's fire. Yeah, fire spell in a very unique way. Thank you for your 14 months of membership and for rejoining. Carly Ann DeHart, thank you for rejoining after a month. I appreciate it. Judy is me. Thank you very much for rejoining after 5 months. Welcome to a new channel member, Lucy 8 of 9. Sounds very Borg to me, but a cool name. Thank you. Chelsea L, thank you for rejoining after 7 months. Diane Spencer, welcome back after 6 months. And I think that is everybody from today. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. That's a lot of new members or a lot of rejoining members. It's good to have you as a part of this family. All right, for anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat, let me quickly acknowledge that, and then we'll get on about our days here. So kicking things off today, thanks so much to Cut and Paste Life. I appreciate you. To Jalissa Garabay, I think it is. Thank you so much. AB, Melissa Grant, Misty, Judy is me. Again, thanks for being a member as well. Tamika Mitchell, thank you. Darcy Rollins, Jules in July, welcome back. Good to see you again. Missy Gordon and Kak Lee. Thank you so much, everybody. Let me see if I missed anyone at the last minute. I think I got everyone. So again, I'm going to spend a few minutes after this reading and I'll update my website with some new links so that you'll be able to take a look at the Sunday Collective, Aquarius, Pisces, and the bonus reading that's coming up here over the next few days. I'll have that up later this afternoon. In the meantime, I hope you're having a great Earth Day, a great end of this week, and a great month ahead. Always a pleasure to be here for you, and you really had some beautiful messages that came through. Okay? Lots of love and light. Thank you so much. Again, I hope you're having a great day, and it was my honor to be able to read for you today. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.